What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And before I get started, I just want to say tonight, of course, I will be live with Bad Dog Sports as we talk about the New York Giants on our usual show, Talking Giants. Of course, we'll recap week 2 against the Bills, and we'll talk about the big events from today after Daniel Jones has been named the starter. Also, I want to say that yesterday I had the privilege of going on Fisk Vegas's podcast. Of course, we've had our differences of opinion with the New York Giants, but that's what fanhood is all about, and we talked about it. We got into broad sports. I had a great time. He's got a great channel, and I want everybody to sub both of these guys up. Both links will be in the description, and I hope to see you guys tonight around 10:15 or so as we have Talking Giants. But in this video, I am going to talk about Eli Manning and potentially acquiring something for him. Now, I know a lot of Giants fans are going to want him to stay a Giant, and I get it. You know, I love Eli Manning. I always say he's my favorite player. But at the end of the day, if you really love Eli Manning, why would you want to deny him the chance to compete? Now, the question is, do the teams that need a potential quarterback feel like they're contenders, and do they feel like Eli Manning would help them get over the hump? And that's the question you really got to ask yourselves. If the Giants get the right deal, I think they would pull the trigger. Not just for their own franchise, but for Eli Manning's betterment. I mean, he's 38 years old. Give him a chance to go out there and compete. Of course, now you got the monkey off your back. Daniel Jones is in, and the New York Giants have begun the new phase of this franchise. Now, the two teams that I came up with, now some people may say the Colts, of course, with Andrew Luck retiring, but Jacoby Brissett has done a decent job there, and I think they're ready to move on with Brissett to man the fort this year, and they'll go forward with whatever they want to do in the draft or free agency at that position, or maybe they think Brissett could get the job done. But the Colts remain, I guess, an outside possibility. The two teams that are the most realistic suitors, in my opinion, are the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll start with the Steelers. The Steelers, to me, are the least, of the two teams, in terms of being realistic. Ben Roethlisberger goes down. He's out for the year. So they could use a quarterback. They, of course, drafted Mason Rudolph in last year's draft, I believe in the 3rd round, a guy that they think has some promise. Now, the question is, do they think Rudolph is the guy that could lead this team going forward? The Steelers are off to an 0-2 start, and they are 2 games behind the Baltimore Ravens already. What are they really going to give up to get Eli Manning? That's the question. I don't think it would be much, but the fact that Eli Manning only has 1 year left on his contract, the Steelers would say, okay, we could keep this guy for a year, hope he could get us back into contention, and then Ben comes back the following year, and we let Eli hit free agency, at which point Eli could retire or try to, bring his services to another team. The Saints I could have brought up as well, but Teddy Bridgewater, they paid a decent amount of money. I think Bridgewater will be their guy going forward as they try to, man the fort for the next 6-7 games until Drew Brees comes back. The Jaguars, to me, seem like the most realistic suitor. And again, this video is not about what we could get for Eli Manning. This is more about giving Eli Manning an opportunity if a team thinks that he could make them a contender. The Jaguars, of course, signed Nick Foles to a huge contract. He is out for the year. They've brought in their rookie Minshew, but do they really think Gardner Minshew can get this team into the playoffs? And they may not think Eli Manning could either, but I would think Eli Manning would give them a better chance. And, of course, the connection there with Tom Coughlin, it's been rumored now for the last 2 or 3 years that the Jaguars may potentially be interested in acquiring his services. And how fitting would that be, Eli Manning get an opportunity to close out his career with Tom Coughlin and having an opportunity to compete for the playoffs? Yes, the Jaguars are 0-2, but the Jaguars still have a very strong defense, and they only sit a game out of first place in that division. All the teams are 1-1. The Colts, Andrew Luck out for the year. The Texans have had their slew of injuries. So it's still open there. The Titans aren't going to run away with that division. Maybe Eli Manning is what that team needs to get a little spark into that franchise. So maybe that trade would make sense. Now, do I think it's a probability we're going to trade Eli Manning? No, I don't. I really don't. I think the New York Giants owner loves Eli Manning. I think the fan base loves Eli Manning. I think a lot of the fan base would be upset to see the New York Giants trade him. But at the end of the day, I love Eli Manning. I would rather see him get an opportunity with another team to compete and win for a championship, much like a Joe Montana did, much like a Brett Favre did, rather than see him sulk on the bench and mentor Daniel Jones. Yes, I'm sure he'd be great at that. He's a great New York Giant, and he would do whatever he could to put this team over the top. But at the end of the day, what would be best for Daniel Jones and Eli Manning, in my opinion, long-term, would be to trade him if there was a potential suitor. You give Eli Manning the chance to compete. Whether or not the Jaguars would be interested, I'm not sure. If they were going to be interested, it would have to come soon because they can't drop into an 0-3, 0-4 hole. Of course, they're playing this Thursday night against the Titans in a divisional matchup, a team that sits a game ahead of them in the standings. I don't expect them to bring in Eli Manning before that game. You never know if he was going to be traded at all. If they were to win that game and Minshew didn't play that well, maybe they say, you know what, we got a shot here. Let's take a shot. Let's give them a late-round pick for Eli Manning, a couple late-round picks, and let's see if we can get some magic in a bottle. Because with that defense they displayed, they went to the AFC Championship game with Blake Bortles. Now, I know they got their issues there with their cornerback and everything else, but with Ramsey. But maybe they get their head on straight with a veteran quarterback, and maybe he helps them sneak into the playoffs and maybe do a little damage with that defense. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. No matter what, I'm going to be happy whether he stays with the Giants or if he gets an opportunity somewhere else. As always, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.